When the greatest of all time speaks, everyone in the arena holds their breath. And this time, Michael Jordan wasn't just reflecting. Regarding his own ancestry, he raised awareness of Caitlin Clark, a rising talent in women's basketball who is revolutionizing the game with every shot she hits, as well as a moment that stunned the court and brought Clark to tears. Beyond the stage, MJ's moving tribute had a lasting effect. But what exactly did he say? Get everyone on their feet. This is a moment you won't want to miss. Put on your seatbelt, then. Michael Jordan and Caitlin Clark's rise to prominence, especially in relation to athletes. It's intentional rather than routine outside of the NBA. Additionally, when a WNBA rookie receives that rare spotlight, people have noticed that Jordan has historically avoided criticizing the women's game in favor of providing support from a distance while utilizing ownership, branding, and global influence to build his legacy in the men's league. But when he does discuss a rising star like Caitlin Clark in particular, it goes beyond simple praise. Music. The idea of greatness has undergone a profound shift. Clark is not merely collecting data, he is making a total transformation. Because of her visit, the WNBA now exists. Records for attendance have been surpassed and broken. Television ratings. With the Indiana Fever, she has turned once quiet games into sold-out occasions. Every game is watched by more than 1 million people. Her rise is noteworthy, though, not just in terms of numbers but also in terms of the ripple effects. In the cities where her games are regularly broadcast on television, youth basketball programs are thriving. In addition to playing, girls are picking up basketballs in order to be heard and seen in the crowded camps. That kind of influence is similar to what Jordan used to accomplish in the men's division. In addition to winning games in the 1990s, he changed the global perception of what a basketball player should be. Music. Today, that legacy takes on a new dimension as his Jordan brand quietly builds partnerships with WNBA players. The economic segment of his company is growing and aligning with the commercial potential and cultural significance of exceptional female athletes. The commercial significance of the women's game is no longer an issue. It has to do with how quickly that value is increasing, with Clark at its heart. For someone like Clark, Jordan's official admission is therefore not coincidental. His few yet powerful comments are more than just recommendations. These are claims that demand attention from followers and brands. Few people bear the burden of his memory. When he calls attention to someone and others can follow suit, the sports world finds it more challenging. This kind of cultural transfer is not mentorship, but it does go beyond endorsement. The excitement of crossover has only grown thanks to social media. Notoriety these days isn't confined to award events or ESPN interviews. Using social media sites like Instagram and TikTok, celebrities can interact in real time and publicly support one another. Additionally, to tell tales that cut across gender and league boundaries in that context. Rather than being a quiet gesture, Jordan's acceptance of Clark's presence was a crucial moment that spread. Similar to an internet-wide wildfire, corporate branding have quickly become well-known, and coordinated campaigns using male and female athletes strive for synchronization. A strategy music that lets viewers envision unbridled basketball brilliance. As more companies invest in this vision, so do veteran icons and emerging talent are being pulled into shared attention moments. In certain moments, the past and future can converge. Where someone like Jordan could validate a force like Clark without saying much. Even though Jordan's comments seemed unmatched, why did Shaq and Larry Bird suddenly step in and offer their own unexpected compliments? Watch out. Larry Bird, who is seldom known for ostentatious public appearances or dramatic headlines, said something that seemed lighter than it actually was, that I and his usual quiet voice couldn't keep their eyes off Caitlin Clark. He admitted that during the previous season, he found himself following Iowa just as passionately as his own alma mater, Indiana State, the starting point of his remarkable career. Take a trip in the late 1990s. For a player of Bird's caliber, it said everything, even though it wasn't gaudy or extravagant. Bird doesn't hold back when speaking. Thus, when he matches Caitlin Clark's ideas with those of the public, take note of the games that influenced his career. More intriguing is the kind of basketball that Bird likes. Instead of pursuing hype, he values hard effort, vision, and making judgments. Furthermore, those same things are reflected in Clark's fashion. Her tempo control, long-range accuracy, and fast intuition are similar to the traits that formerly defined the Bird himself. It wasn't just a compliment. The way the game is supposed to be played was respectfully admired by it. For those who are aware of how rare it is in women's basketball, a small wink from Bird set it all in motion. To avoid being noticed by the traditional folklore, Shaquille O'Neal, on the other hand, added his own unexpected voice to the growing list of greats. He was colorful, outspoken, and intensely committed. Shaq's current concentration is on Caitlin Clark. It took him some time to grow fond of Clark. Early in Angel Reese's WNBA career, he regularly showed his support for the player, whom he has publicly backed. But when Clark continued to exert control with poise, confidence, and the capacity to alter the course of events, something changed that he personally saw, not just the excitement or the headlines. And it was clear that the tone had shifted when he finally spoke. "Now, I'm not Shaq," he declared. "I'm a supporter," removing his ostentatious demeanor in favor of a brief moment of openness. He not only pronounced her well, but he also provided an explanation. He talked about how she created plays, her ability to create possibilities, and how she improves others around her. Not only were her selections flashy, but music accurate, he noted. Shaq has played with legends. He is aware of the difference between fleeting and sustained excitement, superiority, and he perceived the latter in Clark. The fact that his compliment came so naturally despite his prior status made it all the more impressive. There was no reluctance. While acknowledging that television sometimes distort a player's performance, he asserted that Clark's game was much better in person. Her choice of shots, her movement, and her leadership all translated. Shaq didn't like sound bites. He was genuinely amazed by her maturity, expertise, and control on the floor. Additionally, he explained that her actions are unusual. Celebrities like Bird and Shaq's recognition goes beyond simple affirmation. It's a shift in how those who have defined the game see it. They don't express gratitude. It is the result of years of research into what helps players stand out to the greatest extent, sentiment, and basketball logic. And why, with the din of legends still echoing around her, was Caitlin Clark left off of Team USA's Olympic roster? Is there more to the story? Let's look into it. A comeback occurs when Caitlin Clark's subtle disobedience is fueled by criticism. There is a particular silence associated with exclusion. The sort that makes you uncomfortable when your name isn't on the list, not the kind that echoes in a vacant arena. Although Caitlin Clark had been under strain in the past, being left off the U.S. Olympic roster carried a different burden. There were multiple competitions. The symbolic message scared both fans and critics. For many, it was unthinkable. A player with renewed passion, music, in women's basketball, packed stadiums, and more people watching TV. It was awkward to be on the periphery of the global stage. Not everyone, though, believed it to be a disaster. Having gone through both highs and lows in his NBA career, Dwight Howard viewed it as a test that might be useful. To be honest, he said, this should make her go harder in the gym. Without being condescending, it was more of a challenge than a jab. Howard wasn't minimizing her pain. He was pointing to what was beyond it. He had seen it before. Often overlooked athletes are able to make a difference in the world. I regret it. He had big hopes for Caitlin, and it's possible that her exclusion gave the area something it hadn't had in a long time. Without the hectic Olympic schedule and everyone's scrutiny, she had time to reflect. Her exile from Paris allowed her to peacefully hone her edges when her possession was magnified on the international scale. As the cameras moved, she stayed in the gym. Her fire was more than a showpiece. She took care of herself. Fans didn't see every extra practice or late-night shoot, but it was happening in silence, and I kept hearing about it along with other news. Jeff Teague, a former NBA guard, did not remain silent. He believed that the WNBA had missed a great opportunity. They played this all wrong, he continued, shaking his head. Headlines have never appealed to Teague. But when he spoke, it was clear that he was irritated. The league had alienated Caitlin's wave of supporters in addition to being underutilized. All of a sudden, social media usage had surged, games were selling out, and merchandise was flying. Still, her welcome had been everything but friendly. Teague wasn't alone, in his perspective. Hall of Famer Rick Barry made a more direct comment. He considered Caitlin's physical mistreatment to be more than just severe. It was personal. He called the ongoing targeting disgusting. Rookies weren't usually treated this way. And it said it all, according to Barry. A man who was a player in an era of frequent heavy fouls. He was concerned about more than just the message that was given to the contact from the top. If stars aren't safeguarded, what kind of tone does that set? During those early months, each game she played had extra meaning. Every foul felt like a challenge, and every stare down like a warning. However, just focus, no drama, no angry interviews. Silently and skillfully, she absorbed it all. Gradually, things began to shift. Competitors noted that her teammates were taller. The stillness that had previously seemed like rejection began to take on new significance, even if they refused to admit it.